Good morning. It's Monday, January 13th, and in 7 days, Donald Trump will become the President of the United States. And there's one very important function that Donald Trump has to get control of right away. He needs a powerful bill to control the spending of the monies that this country needs to operate under. And Trump wants one powerful MAGA bill, but he has a major problem with the makeup of the Republican Congress and Senate. Their majorities are so narrow and they are so dysfunctional that it's going to be very, very difficult for Donald Trump to get what he wants on the legislative law. So let's take a look at what some of the things that he would like to have. In his words, it should be a powerful bill. It should cover increased border security. It should renew the tax cuts for the wealthy. Those are tax cuts he signed into law during his first term. He wants to increase domestic oil production. And the bill would also include an increase in the limit on how much the government can borrow to pay its debt. And there will be spending cuts and many other so-called initiatives. Now, Trump and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who you all know is holding his position under the threat of a revolt by the hard-right Republican part of the party. They want to do all of these things that Trump wants in one enormous piece of legislation. But Republican leaders in the Senate see trouble ahead, and they want to break up this mess of laws into two packages. When Trump heard that, he said something like, "We'll get something done. One bill, two bills, it doesn't matter to me. They're going to work that out." Well, they will work it out, but I don't think it's going to be easy, and I don't think that Trump is going to get half of what he thinks he needs and wants. Now, Trump wants and knows he needs a congressional loophole to get his agenda through. And Trump is talking about Republicans running before they learn how to walk. So he and his allies want to use a parliamentary procedure called budget reconciliation. That would allow them to pass Trump's wish list legislation on a simple majority vote, while the Democratic option would be to have a filibuster in place, which requires 60 of 100 votes in order for Trump to get stuff passed. Now, there's one big problem there. The House and the Senate first have to agree on a budget resolution, a blueprint on spending for the fiscal year. That includes instructions for the reconciliation plan. So there's a lot of preliminary work that has to get done before they can even start creating this monumental budget that they need. And there is no budget resolution for this federal fiscal year. That started 3 months ago, and it runs until September 30th. So I don't know what the big rush is, because now, if you look at this, work like this hasn't passed since August of 2021, when the Democrats controlled the House and the Senate. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. And the Republicans, even though they have a majority in the House and the Senate, their majority is minuscule. 1 or 2 votes here and 1 or 2 votes there. And there are many, many Republicans in that group that are not linked heavily with Trump and his acolytes. So this whole procedure is really going to be very, very difficult for Donald to achieve what he believes this nation wants. And I can tell you, this nation does not need another budget cut for the rich. We need something for the poor. We need something that's going to get this nation back on solid financial ground, where many, many different parts of our population are satisfied. Not satisfying the wealthy only. That's a major, major mistake in the thinking of Donald Trump and his cohorts. Now, Johnson, is in a tenuous position, and he took a lot of heat last month from the right wing of his party because there was a threat of a government shutdown. And that was because he tried to follow Trump's lead before backing down and relying on the Democrats to help pass a continuing resolution to keep the funding of the government until March 14th at levels that were set by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of May 2023. So the Republicans don't have a big enough lead to really put a lot of pressure on getting these things done. So this is going to be a Republican budget drama with a constant threat to Johnson's speakership. And Trump, who has no idea what the hell to do, wants them to run before they can walk. But if the right-wing Republicans slow it all to a crawl, just increasing the amount of borrowing to pay existing bills, that is known as raising the debt ceiling. And that usually enrages the hard-right Republican. And there are many controversial things that have been suggested during this whole episode of creating some future budget for us. When they talk about cutting programs like Medicare and Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, many people are not going to be happy with that. We're looking for something that is better, something that will improve those procedures, not eliminate them. And if these people in the government try to lean toward the rich one more time around, all hell is going to be paid. So we have to watch our asses when Trump tries to rewrite the spending habits of our great or once great country. So this is a very tenuous position that we are in the United States right now. And it will take a man who is much better than Trump to figure out this mess. So hang on to your hats, folks. We're into a very rough ride. Take care. Have a great day in spite of all this nonsense.
Thank you.